Hello and welcome to another evening session with the Tunisian Crochet Graphghan Boutique. I'm Jessica. I'll give everybody a few minutes to hop on. I know that in the group we have the Tunisian cowl going on. That's the corner to corner entrelac blanket. We also have the other event, which is the swatch, the practice swatches. And those are so that you guys can learn the color changes and practice those. Let's see, what else is going on? The tea cow's going along pretty well. Hi, Melinda. And I see a lot of people are catching up, and we're probably going to be adding the border next week, I'm hoping. I try to not necessarily give a date until I'm closer to knowing what's going on, only because you know how life is. It kind of throws something at you and then it doesn't happen, and I don't like to let you guys down. So, does anybody have any questions about the tea cowl? Is everybody enjoying it? I know we've got a lot of new members here. We've had a lot of questions about hooks, and I've tagged a few members in our old lives where I show them the hooks. And I hope everybody's enjoying the tea cowl as much as I am. I know a lot of people requested something easy, and we all kind of decided that this would be something easier and with a bigger hook, because it would get you used to seeing where the holes are for the stitches, and make it easier to get into the stitches as well, because a lot of people tend to crochet super tight when they're learning something new, and with Tunisian it's a relaxed stitch. So I hope everybody's enjoying the cowl. And another message that I got was for a couple people said that they were concerned that the Tunisian cowl was going to be taken down, and I hope that I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I hope that everybody understands this cowl is going to be up for a while, because hi Lisa, I know a lot of people get involved in cowls and then they get taken down and they're like, I haven't got a lot of it done yet, or I'm behind, so now they got to buy a pattern. We're going to leave it up here. And I knew too, Christmas is going to be coming up and people are busy with Christmas orders and selling things, and it gets crazy this time of year. So this way people can jump in January or whatever and just pick up when they have time, because I don't like for things to be rushed. I like for stuff to stay up and people to be able to use it, which is why our swatches even stay up. So I hope everybody's doing good on the tea cowl. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Do we have any questions? Has anybody ran across anything that's Tunisian related that they're having problems with? Something they wanted to know? Even if it's something I can't answer right now, I can always find out and get back to you guys. Hi Bonnie. It's a little chilly here today, so we've got the Fireball and apple cider. It doesn't look like we have any questions. That's good. Bonnie says, oh, yummy. You got to treat yourself every once in a while. And that's the thing too. I know that there's a lot of cowls going on right now too, that a lot of people have ordered things for and stuff too. And that's one of the reasons too, like I don't like to keep things up and have them taken right back down, because then you have trouble following along with all of that, because you get involved in another cow, or something comes up that you're like, oh, I got to do this. So your OCD or ADHD kicks in. So it's easy to get sidetracked, and then you end up with a whip in the bag, and you're like, oh, I know I had it in this group, but what was it? So, and then you go back in and it was taken down. So that's why I like to leave it up in here. Melinda, cheers. So, how has anybody, hi Monica, has anybody not started the cow because you don't understand it, or there's something going on that you don't know if you can do it, or hook size, or yarn size, or where you're located? If so, feel free to speak up here, and if I can't help you right here, then I will help you behind the scenes. And that's another thing too. A lot of you guys know and have messaged me. I will message you back, and I'm not always on, but I am on a good majority of the time, and I do message people back and help people behind the scenes, and I have done live videos in the Facebook Messenger to help people too. Monica, is there a video on how to do color changes in the Tunisian knit stitch? Hi Gloria. I do not have one. I was actually thinking about making one because someone had mentioned doing one of the blocks that we have in the event as a tea cow in the knit stitch so that they could learn the knit stitch. Let me close my door. Hold on. My dog decides that she needs to check on me when I'm filming. So, she just busts through the door. Yeah, Monica, I don't have one for that, but it's probably going to be up here within the next, I want to say 3 weeks. Because we're doing the cow right now, and with the knit stitch, a lot of the people you're twisting them like you do on YouTube, and I've actually been playing around with another method that's a little bit cleaner, and so I'll probably put that one up. Things have been a little crazy here because my husband got hurt at work, so he's been off, and so we've been dealing with workman's comp and x-rays and MRIs, and it's been crazy. Hi Penny. So do we have any questions about the tea cow, hooks? Anybody that's new have questions about hooks, where to get them, what's going on? Hi Karen. I know a few people have questioned about another tea cow after this is done, and we've hit a few ideas. Actually, I think that we're probably going to be running a poll to see how many people would be interested in certain things, so that we can get a better idea, kind of what a lot of people would be interested in. Because I think, you know, and it's with any group. If you do a poll and you see what people are interested, even though you get the majority of people that are interested in something, a lot of people will say that they're going or whatever, and then they don't do it because life, or it doesn't stay up long enough, and so that's something that we're going to look into too. And he says, I love your color of the cow or what I'm wearing. The tea cow, like I said, a bunch of people, I actually had a few people message me this weekend and were in a complete panic because they have just started. And I will say it again on here. This will be up for a long time. This is going to be up for like 2 years. Do not feel like I haven't started yet. I'm not going to be able to start till after Christmas. I've got orders. I've got things going on. My family's having babies, and I've got to cook for the holidays, and I'm not going to get it done. You know, if you start, this will be up for a long time. Don't feel like, oh, God, you know, this is going to get taken down, and I'm not going to be able to see the videos, and I'm going to be lost. And it's going to end up in a whip bag somewhere not finished. So, please, 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 you know, even if you post your tea cow in here and somebody asks, guys, let them know it just started, but it's going to be up for a long time. So they have plenty of time to do it. The border, we're looking at 2 different borders right now. A few people said they'd rather do the mitered corners for theirs, so that's one of the things that I'm playing around with as I'm trying to work on this and a couple orders for Christmas, so be patient. Let's see, what else? Does anybody have any questions so far? Also, one of the things that we are probably going to be discussing and polling after Christmas, I want to start something springish kind of early, because what happens is I see a lot of people starting cows and they're like, oh, we're going to do a Valentine's cow, and then they start at the beginning of February, and like people are already got most of their stuff done for them by, you know, for Thanksgiving or for Valentine's Day by the time that comes. Karen, second border you have in mind. A couple people wanted to do just the regular join as you go, where the edges are square. I'm trying to think of a way to describe it. But your edges, anyway, your edges are going to be more squared. So what's going to happen is you're going to work from the bottom up, and then you're going to get to that corner, and then what you would do was still work that many stitches across, but you would only do, hi Kim, you would do so many stitches across. So if we decided to do a border of 10, you're still going to do those 10 stitches for 10 rows if you did 10 stitches wide, and then you're going to go down and you're going to pick up those stitches, and then you're going to work it away across, and then you're going to do the 10 stitches wide, and then you're going to turn your blanket and do it up that way. Gloria said, I had to fly to Chicago last weekend and my tea cow was too big to take. So I made my first Tunisian ear warmer on the flights. Now I'm back at it on the 4th decrease. Yeah, it's amazing how big it got and how fast, and that was one of the things, like when I was discussing the tea cow, I was like, you know, to people, it's 15 blocks wide if you do the throw, and then 15 blocks high, and if you multiply that, that's 225 blocks, and it seems like a lot, especially because there's so many people that are like, oh God, that's blocks, and they look at it, because how many of us have done block that you have to crochet them separately and then stitch them all together, and it ends up in a whip bag and never gets done, which is why I like the idea of this being interlock. You can just attach as you go. There's no sewing. I like things simple. I think the more work you have to put into something, then the more chances it has to just become a whip in a bag or thrown in the corner that you do not want to work on. Hi, Amy. So, yeah, it did get big pretty quick. I can't wait to see your ear warmer, Gloria. There's a few that I've seen that I really, really like. One of them has a little twist in the front, and one of the things that I was going to, let me get my yarn. One of the things, since springtime is going to be around the corner, and I know that there are so many places, AC Moore, there is not one around me, and I wish there was, because I've seen some people do some of their yarn hauls from there, and I know that they have cake yarns, and I don't know if AC Moore has cake yarns online or not. When they first come out, they did not, and I actually have not checked, but the cake yarns, there's like Sheepish Whirl, and there is like the Shawl in a Ball, and Yarn Bee. I think their Rainbow Rhapsody is this is just one of the ones I picked up because since we're thinking about doing a shawl, and I think what we're going to do is do a lightweight shawl in Tunisian, and we're going to do a poll to see how many people would rather do the triangular one. I seem to like those because my lower back seems to get a little chilly, and how many people want to do the rectangular one, and we may actually do both, but we're going to be working with the cakes. There are a lot of bright cakes, but there are also a lot of muted cakes, so don't like panic if this is something you want to make to sell and are thinking, oh God, you know, I don't want something that's so showy and fluorescent and is not going to sell. This is something we're going to do that we want a lot of people to be able to join in. You can pick your own colors for your own use. And one of the things that I will be showing on there is a video. A lot of people are asking me when I go to shows and stuff like that about the garment steamer and how it works. Because a lot of the things that I do take to shows that are wearables, I will put them on my mannequin and steam them when they get there, because I have gone to a lot of craft shows, and I do set up at a lot of them, and there are a few that even if I don't have stock, or there's been times that I've completely sold out and I will stay for the rest of the fair, and I have a quilt hanger, and it's a compression quilt hanger, and I put a Graphghan on it, and I'll steam it and put it up and then put my cards out, and I do get a ton of orders for Graphghans that way. And for those of you that do Graphghans, a lot of your local stores, coffee shops and stuff like that, if you've had a Graphghan that somebody ordered and then you got half down and they're not coming to get it or whatever, or the order fell through. I had one that a lady paid half down, and unfortunately her and her sister had this huge fight, and she was like, don't even finish it, keep the half down, I don't even care. So I finished it, and I had the Graphghan, and there's a little coffee shop around here, and they let me put it in, and I hung it up in there and took the garment steamer and went over it. And I find that that gets me, and a lot of word of mouth gets me a lot of business. The garment steamer gets me a lot of business because when the work is blocked, it gives a more professional look, and I have actually had some crocheters. Hi Viola. I've actually had a few crocheters come over to me, and one of them had done one of the same patterns that I had done from the same designer. It was a Graphghan, and hers was done in single crochet, mine was done in Tunisian simple stitch, and I had one in single crochet, and both of mine were marked higher than hers, and mine sold and hers did not. And when I went to go get coffee and was away from my stand, she actually got quite nasty with me, and in the end we ended up talking, and I took over my steamer and steamed, showed her how to use it and steamed some stuff, and then her sales started pouring in. So in the end, I showed her what I had learned, and she used it and in turn made sales. So that's why I am, I know blocking's a pain in the butt when you're doing blocks and everything else, but when you're doing shows and you're putting your stuff up for work, I can't tell you how many times I see something and it's, this is a picture for a client and it's thrown on a floor and it's just a picture, and I will do a picture like that, but you need to pay attention to what's in your background too, because that stuff makes a big difference. Gloria, do you block everything? I do not block everything. Most of the time, like hats will keep their shape. A lot of my scarves, I do block them because when you hang them on a mannequin or you hang them up in your space, I feel like I gotta sneeze, excuse me. Excuse me. When you hang them up in your space and they don't look as wrinkled, it makes them softer. And some yarns, especially like, what is it? Red Heart, they put a starch in their yarn, so if you don't wash it or block it, it feels really scratchy. So I do block a lot of my stuff. And the good thing about the blocking is, like, even a shawl, you've folded this thing up and you've put it in a box and you take it to the craft show and you're going to put it out and you decide, you know what, this would look great on one of the mannequins, or it would look great hung. And it's really easy just to take the garment steamer out and just go over it real easy. And, it, even on the mannequin, you can just go over it real lightly and so that it drapes nice. And it's not going to affect it. Kim, I have a steamer. Can you give me pointers on do's and don'ts of steaming your Afghan, or how to? Thank you, Gloria. Bless me. As far as Afghans, a lot of times I actually went to Goodwill and I found an old cotton blanket, and I will put that over my bed or my spare bed or something, to that effect, and then I lay it out, and then I will steam it. And you do not, the steamer will get super hot, so you do not want to touch where you're steaming, because you will burn yourself to the point that you will blister. But if you start to steam, you've squared your corner out, then you start to steam. Once it cools down just a pinch, then you can go in and adjust it. I know a lot of times, this blanket that I bought, it has some lines on it, so it's easy to line things up to get things squared. So that's why I like to do it. And the cotton, it can set on there, and under the ceiling fan, it will dry super quick. I've blocked before too. I've steamed them too when I put them on the quilt hangers. I have one in a business that has, it's a winery, and I have it hung in there on a quilt hanger, and they let me put my cards out in there, so I actually get sales from this one that's hung up on a quilt hanger, and I go in like every 3 months, and I just take the blanket and I go over it. I take it down and shake it out, dust it a little bit, and then use the garment steamer on it because it kills all the dust mites and everything like that and makes it nice and soft. Glorious says, okay, I'm giving my tea cow as a gift, so should I block it then? Will I have to get a steamer? If you're giving it as a gift, it depends. There are some people like, some family members really don't care. And there are some family members that they like things pristine and they pay attention to that kind of thing. They pay attention to detail. And those are the type of people that I like, and my customers, obviously, because I'm selling. So my name goes with that. So when they pull something out and it's nice and soft and it's been blocked and it's been steamed, it's a little bit softer. It tends to go a little bit further. Like for instance, I made my sister-in-law a Graphghan, and I was so excited. I got it done so quick, and I knew we were going down there, and I only had a few rows done left that needed to be done on it. So actually, while we were driving in the car, like 3 or 4 hours, I finished the rest of the Graphghan, and in that case, I didn't steam it because I didn't pack the steamer with me and everything else because we were just going down there for the holidays, and she was just so excited to have it. So, you know, when I got down there, I washed it, and then I just threw it in the dryer on air dry for a little bit to get some of the stuff out of it, the moisture, and then I laid it on the bed and let it dry. So you don't have to get, there we go, you don't have to get a steamer. I can't say enough about my steamer. There are so many things that you can use a steamer for. Once every 6 months when I flip mattresses or do whatever with my mattress, I go in and I steam it because, again, it kills the dust mites and everything else. My curtains that are up, I wash them, and when I hang them up, I steam them. It gets all the wrinkles out. So, I mean, I use my steamer for tons of things, and especially when I go to craft shows. I find that little bit of work goes a long way. But it's personal preference. I know a lot of people that are like, I've never blocked anything in my whole entire life. But I think, too, it depends on if you're selling the quality. You know, I know that there's plenty of us that have seen somebody that's like, hey, on Facebook or whatever, the buy, sell, trade pages, hey, I'm selling this, and you get a picture, and it's something that's in a pile on a bed, and the bed has no sheets on it, or the carpet's like, people look at the background of your pictures, and, you know, I don't think a lot of people realize that. So I think that would be another piece of advice. If you're going on a buy, sell, trade page and you're taking pictures and you have to do them inside, you know, try to put a little bit of thought in the background, because people do look at that. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, back to the shawls. Yes, we will be doing the shawls, and we want to do something lightweight. So, you do not have to go and get fancy and buy sheepish whirls. You do not have to go onto some fancy site and buy a specific color. It's not going to be like that. You actually, let me see. I think I have one. Yes, I do. There we go. Alright. I know that a lot of people are like, they don't want to spend a lot of money on yarns and whatever. So, we will have a weight put up, and a few suggestions, but don't feel like, oh, this is the only thing that I can use, because I know there's plenty of yarns that I do not have. I know, it's amazing, right? But Hobby has twisters, and this is an example of a twister, and the colors don't really show up here as good as I might like. But Hobby has the twisters, and these ones have 1,000 meters. Yarn Bee has these cakes. This one is called a Rainbow Rhapsody, and there's 918 yards on here. You can get the 4-ply cakes. Let me see, this one recommends the 3.25 millimeter crochet hook, and this one also does the 3.25. I think that's pretty standard for a lot of the cakes. Where's the other one at? It's a wrap. Yeah, that one also calls for a 3.25 crochet hook. This is the Red Heart. It's a wrap. And like Ria's cakes, you can get the 3-ply or the 4-ply. So they use it says 2 to 4 millimeter needle. So the 3 or the 4-ply would be nice to use with this as well. This one's like an American. I'm actually have a shawl that's going to be the American flag, so the center of it, in the center of your back, is going to have the sparkle and the blue, and then the lines of the flag. But as far as the cakes, you know, we're going to be able to use, you know, any of these. So don't panic and think, oh, I need to have, I need to go buy this, because a lot of people are in different places and you can't always get what you can get in other places. But yeah, we're probably going to do both shawls, but I'm going to see how many people want to do the triangular first, or how many want to do a rectangular first, and then we'll go from there. But I would like to figure that out before springtime gets here, so that springtime, when it comes, we're well on our way with it. Kim says she loves the red, white, and blue one. I thought you would. Kim, I'm doing the red, white, and blue for a biker's rally for the 4th. So I got to get working on those right after Christmas, because I do a lot of those for bikers runs. And they seem to really sell. The bikers wives love them. I did a one too in the Harley Davidson colors and that really sold fast too. Yeah, a lot of people are saying so far that they're really interested in the mitered corners for the tea-cow, so that's probably the one we're going to go with. So far, do we have any questions about anything I've talked about? Is there anything you guys would like to see in here as a cal or information or anything? You know, that's the thing. You guys, the members, are what keeps the group going. And your ideas and your input, you know, it's great that we all have ideas as mods and admin here, and you know, that's what, you know, keeps things going as well. But you guys are the ones that are making the stuff, that are wanting to do the TCALs, and that, you know, want to expand your knowledge, and that's why we're here, is to teach and to do what you guys want to do. Gloria said I better start right after Christmas because I'm slow. You're not going so slow. You're further along in the TCAL than I am right now. And that's even with you getting to go visiting. Yeah, the ones that we do in here, the shawls and stuff, they're going to be beginner friendly too. This is going to be super easy. I do not want anybody to get worried. I know that there are a few that have said, oh, I bought this pattern and it said beginner friendly and it had stitches in it that I was like, oh God, and I had to watch videos and go back and then watch the video for the stitch, and I just couldn't keep up and I couldn't catch on. When I say this is beginner friendly, this is going to be very straightforward, very beginner friendly. And there will be, we're only going to need like a video or two to show an increase, and I'm sure after you guys do 4 or 5 rows of increases, you guys will be like, okay, I got it now. You know, you're not really going to need to watch the video. But there's really not going to be a lot of, there's not going to be a lot of technical stitches. It's not going to be stitches you've never heard of. Kimberly says I'm slow too. A red, white, and blue shawl would be awesome. Yeah, I've had a lot of people really like them. Hi, Brenda. They seem to sell really well for me, the red, white, and blue ones. Especially during some of the summer events and the Harley events, bike rides. Bonnie says, I enjoy the research when learning new technique or stitches. I do enjoy that, but there are times where I have bought a pattern and it's like, oh, we're going to be doing this and it's going to be beginner to intermediate, and I have started a pattern and gotten like 12 rows in, and I've still got to go back and watch the videos to refer to everything that's going on, because the stitches don't, the designer made up the stitch name, and or, you know, it's so complicated that you got to go back and watch it over and over again, because it's something that's not so easy, especially, you know, when it's advertised as easy. You know, I think I'm a pretty intermediate. I wouldn't consider myself I don't think I'd ever consider myself a master crocheter, even though I can pretty much do anything that I choose to. It's just, you know, I think that, and to my love of teaching, you know, it's frustrating to have something say beginner and then new people get it and are like, oh, what did I buy? I don't even understand this. You know, it's a bunch of letters. It looks like the alphabet. It looks like a foreign language, and I just cannot get this. So, but like I said, the shawls and stuff that we're going to be doing are going to be super easy. It's going to have a super easy repeat, and really the only thing that's going to be is the increases or decreases, and they're going to be super easy. This is going to be one of the things that you can watch the video once or twice and you'll be good. Bonnie said advanced beginners, how I describe myself. She has a couple of patterns like that too. Yeah, I have a few that I bought that I was like, oh, you know, I can do that. And then I sat down and was like, oh my, I don't even know what I'm reading. Yeah, so, what else was I going to say? So how many people on here right now are interested in doing the shawl cowl? And would you like to see the triangle, or would you rather have the rectangle? Melinda, why can't they just simplify things? I think some people that design think that they understand what they're saying in their head and they think it's easy, but it's not so much. Bonnie said me. Kim said me. How many are thinking triangular? Bonnie says triangle. Those seem to be the most popular that I sell as well. I did quite a few of the filet type shawls, and they had a design to them, but it wasn't like some of them you see they have like a butterfly in them or whatever. This was just like a geometrical design, and they seem to have sold pretty well. And they weren't done in a thread. They were done in more of like a sock weight yarn, and they come out really nice as well. It's actually amazing this year how much stuff I have sold and how much stock I had. Triangles seem to be very popular right now. Kim said either one's fine with her. Gloria said me, triangle will be, but we'll do either. Yeah, I think we're going to do, was the triangle red, white, and blue shawl a pattern by you? Two of them were not, and then one was, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Stephanie said me either also. I love doing new things and quick. Hi, Sissy. Yeah, that's what I want. I want something that's going to like be a little bit quick. We're definitely going to be using a larger hook size so that we get the drape. And with Tunisian, you know, they always say go up to the 2 hook sizes. And we did have a question about that. And one of them was the yarn she had recommended the 5mm hook. To go up 2 sizes does not mean 5mm, 6mm, 7mm. 2 sizes means 5mm, 5.5mm, 6mm. And then 4 sizes bigger would obviously be the 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7. If you do not have the 7, you can use an 8. I really didn't find a lot of difference between the 7 and the 8. I know the Knitter's Pride does sell the 7mm, but it is separate. I actually invested in it because I like to have every hook that they have. that's available. Kim says, I want to do one now. Yeah, they are going to be, I'm interested to get it up and get the poles in here and find out. I like a lot of the triangular ones, especially with the cakes like this, because you can kind of visualize the color changes, you know, just like this cake here. This has a darker color here, and then this one's kind of lighter, and then this is lighter, and then this is almost a white, and then this is a really pretty mauve color. And I like the triangle shawls because when you start on those, you're starting from the neck, and it's real easy to figure, do you want your border in this and then, you know, this color, or do you want it to be more solid, you know, because it's going to be on the outside and you're going to be wearing it a lot, so you want the darker color to be on the outside. I really like that, you know, the cakes, you can do a center pull or not. And the yarn holders, I don't have mine up here right now, but they have a lot of the yarn holders, and the one that I bought is actually from Ria's Little Favorites, the one that, excuse my, that I got all that yarn from. She actually makes them as well, and you can pull your cakes from the outside, and they have the little bearings so they spin, and it's really nice. Although she calls hers yarn dildos because they've kind of got the beads that go down. Gloria, on average, well, it takes 2 cakes for a shawl or more. For most shawls, it usually takes 1 cake. It depends on the yardage on your shawl, and that will be one of the things that I will be posting. The one shawl that's my design took almost 1,200 meters. And then there's another one that I am working on now that's super easy, and it will take one of the hobby twisters that's only 1,000 yards or meters. And like for something like this, these are 918 yards, which is 839 meters. I would get 2 of these cakes. Just in case. I know a few people like them shorter. They don't want something that's really long if you're not tall. And I think that makes a big difference too. So I think a little bit of that has to do too with the height of the person that you're making it for. And another person was asking me about height and how tall to make like their scarves or a shawl. And I was telling them fingertip to fingertip, and they were like, well, I don't know how to figure out fingertip to fingertip. Your fingertip to fingertip on the average person is the same as their height. So if you ask somebody, how tall are you? And they say they're 5'10", then their arm width is 5'10". So I hope that helps too with how wide or how long you want to make your shawl. For the most part, a lot of times I do buy 2 cakes, and then there are times where, you know, with like Ria's little favorite, she has a club cake. I will usually only get one. And the one thing that I like about her club cakes is you can get one. They have a club cake every month. You have the option of buying her cake, or there's two other ones usually that you can choose from. And if you don't like any of the colors, you don't have to. You're not locked into getting a cake every month. Like, I'll show you. For example, for her club cakes, a few months ago, she did a cocktail cake, and this was a, what was this called? Mango Kuroko cocktail. And I really like this color. It reminded me of the beach. And I have a few friends that really like to go to the beach, and they want something that's going to cover them up but still be airy. And these are 50% acrylic and 50% cotton. These are not plied together, so they're not twisted. So I went to Joann's, Michael's, wherever, and I bought a great big glass bead. And if you put that through there, it will hold the plied, it will kind of keep them together, so when you're crocheting, the strands aren't really all over the place. So I did buy these two the 1 month. Then the next month they had a color and I did not like it. It kind of looked like fall leaves, but it was kind of not for me, so I passed. And then this last month she had one, and it was called, this was the Club Trade. So I didn't like the kite that they had that month, so I traded. And this one is called Wicked Red, and I thought this would be fantastic for Halloween. So next year, around Halloween, I will be using this. And I think it will be fantastic. A little evil. But, like I said, so what we're going to be using doesn't necessarily have to be plied. And we'll talk about the gauge swatch for it as well, because I don't want anybody to get done and not have enough yarn. So, does anybody have any questions? Melinda said another gorgeous colorway. Her yarns, they're so nice. They're a little addictive. I kind of got a whole case going on over here. Bonnie. That's kind of what it reminded me of, was that face. And I was like, oh, this would make a great Halloween. I mean, it may make something nice for Valentine's Day too, but the black kind of took me in another direction. I guess if you started with the black and ended with the red, it might not be so bad for Valentine's Day. Okay. If you guys think of anything, please, I need her website. I will actually get her website put on here when I get off. What was the red, white, and blue yarn again, and where did you get it? I know everything's backwards on the camera, but this says Little Favorites. And her website is www.littlefavorites.de. But she actually has a Facebook group that's called Little Favorites by Ria Yarn Obsession or something. I will get both of the links up here when I get off. Her business page you can order on, and if you're in the group, you can order through the group, and the group has the monthly cakes. The monthly cakes are 25 euros, so it works out to be like 28 bucks, something along there. But I will get I will get her business page and the group that you guys can join. If you join the group, you'll see the cakes every month, and they have a monthly cake, and they have 2 other options. This month is like a color bomb cake that's like got green and orange and yellow and red, and it's really pretty. And then they have one, I think it's called Seal, C-E-I-L, and it's got like a turquoise and a gray, and that one was pretty. And then they have another cake, their third option, I can't remember what it was, but I ended up ordering the cake of the month because it's got a lot of pretty colors in it. This one is called USA, ironically. This is called USA, and it's got glitter in the center. So that one's going to show up fantastic. And like I said, I really like the club because you're not stuck into getting something charged every month. You don't have to sign up for the club cakes and be like, oh gosh, here's another $30 coming out and I don't have it. It's actually, she puts the post up every month, the club cakes, and you can just write pass. And you can get club cakes 4 times a year if you want. You can get them, 10 times a year. You can get them every month. It's up to you how frequently you like to order. Obviously, I have ordered quite a bit. I've been a member for a while. But, yeah, this one was called USA. And the red to black was called Wicked Red. And they had ones that were drink cakes. They were called cocktail cakes, and they had different ones, and this is the one that I chose. And these are 1,250 meters with 3 ply, and that's what most of them are. I have gotten some bigger ones. The color bomb, the cake that I ordered this month, these are not the same exact colors, but it's close to this. This is called Color Bomb, and that's kind of what the cake looks like. But it's got like a green, it's got more like, I want to say like fall. There's green and a few other colors in there that go around. But it's really pretty as well, so that's what I ordered this month. So, Kim says she likes the mango colored one. Yeah, I do too. It reminds me of the beach. Hi, Mary. So, yeah, I will post the link to her group and to her business page in here under, actually, I just might even do a whole post, because we're going to be doing a cowl, and this is going to be one of the places that you can order yarn from. Does anybody have any questions? Can you do a poncho in Tunisian? Yes, you can. There is one that I have been playing around with the pattern, and depending on, and this is the thing, you know, when you do a pattern, you need to think about sizing, and sizing is so different when it comes to the height of a person, the arm width of a person, and that makes a huge difference in sizing, not even including the girth of the person. But the one that I was doing and playing around with, you're working it diagonally, and I actually bought two cakes, and I am starting from one edge and working my way up. So what happens is you work that panel up this way, and then you'll work the other panel up that way so that the colors will actually match up. So then all you're doing is seaming the shoulder together. But there is a way too that you can just do it diagonally and then do the other side down, starting from the center of the cake and one from the outside, and work it down and then just button the sides. But I was playing around with a couple patterns for that. But yeah, there's actually a few ponchos in Tunisian available. It just depends on the weight of the yarn. So, I'm glad that everybody's excited for the cows that are coming up. If there's anything you guys want to see in here, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to try to get to as many as we can without taking the group over and just doing the cows. I will be doing the video about the steamer here in a little while too. And we had a request for the Tunisian knit stitch color change. If there's anything else you guys want to see, please ask, and I will try to get it up as fast as I can. Thank you all for understanding that life's kind of gotten in the way a little bit here with my husband being off work and being down because he's hurt. Do we have any more questions this evening? And like I said, I will post Ria's information in her groups. And just because you joined a group doesn't mean you got to sign up for a monthly cake. It's super easy over there. You can just sit there and watch, or you can join for a monthly cake, and you're obliged to get a cake, because I know a lot. My internet is doing whatever it wants to do right now. Okay. I will get that information up, and like I said, I know that that there are people on fixed incomes and everything else, so as I was saying, you can just pick and choose what cakes you want. You're not stuck in with, oh God, I gave my credit card information, I'm stuck in something, because that's not how it works. So I will post her information in here. Feel free to tell her that I sent you over. Not, you know, she's a member here as well, and I told her that I was designing a cow around her cakes, and I'm not quite sure what one I'm going to use, actually, since I have a few. But I will put the information up. If anybody has any more questions, let me know. And thank you guys all for joining me this evening. If you need anything, have any questions, if there's anything you guys want to see in the group, don't hesitate to suggest it in the group. Message me and suggest it. Message one of the mods, suggest it. It's fantastic. That's what makes the group fantastic and keeps the group growing. Have a great evening, everybody, and thank you for joining me again, and I look forward to seeing you all and all of your work on our pages and in our live sessions in the cows. Have a great evening, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.